So good afternoon. My name is Diane Johansson, and I am the 2021 President of Women's Council Realtors for Alameda County. I'm welcoming everybody here. We're so excited to see you. And our first event for 2021. Now, who would have thought last March, we're almost 1 year into this. Who would have ever thought that? But this seems to be working for us. We just have moved forward. And that brings me to what we are standing on this year, and that is grace and grit. So we have, this year it's been really tough on a lot of people. Or last year was tough on a lot of people, and it still continues to be such. So we thought grace, we have to give people grace. We have to meet them where they're at, and or we're choosing to meet them where they're at. And it's and it gives us the ability to look past whatever is going on, or our differences, and be able to see people's hearts and what's going on. So it's just, we've been functioning on that. And then grit gives us what we need to move forward in spite of fear. And that, I believe, is another thing that we've been able to wrap our arms around, our heads around, and move forward as a successful network. And so with that, I just wanted to let everybody know it's a sad day in the president's house. My little buddy, Pablo, has gone home to be with his mom. And so it's, for any of you people who know, been on all of these calls and everything, he's been like my little sidekick. He has been the mascot for Women's Council of Realtors, Alameda County. I was even gifted a beautiful portrait of Pablo in a suit. So yeah, I didn't think I was going to be affected like I was, but I was.
So sorry.
So I've already had my first FaceTime call with him since he's been at home. So I wanted to share that with you, so you won't be hearing the bird in the background.
Well, yeah, I thought you were saying the bird died. I was like, good Lord, this is terrible news.
No, oh gosh, I probably wouldn't have been able to be here today.
That's what I thought she meant too.
No,
oh my gosh.
He went home to be with his mama. She couldn't have him about a year ago. And so I just took him temporarily. And of course I had him for an entire year. So
I thought his mama was in heaven.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Me too. But I understand, Diane. We had to bird sit for the neighbor for about 5-6 days, and all of us were like, I don't know, this isn't going to be. We were kind of wondering whether or not it'd be okay. And then when we sent him home, it was like, I miss his voice.
Yeah, so he definitely had lots to say. So no, yeah. He has not passed away. He is with my daughter. Alive and well.
Good.
Yeah. Good. So, okay. With that said, I would just like to welcome our 2021 Network Board of Directors. We have Nick Solis. He is our Programs Director. Chris Carr is our Treasurer. Susan Munkner is our Membership Director. Sinat Tai is our Secretary. And Diana McGrogan is our President-elect. I'm so sorry, Diana. And Jason Canepa is our Ways and Means Director. So, and we appreciate our continued support from all of our strategic partners, because without them, most of what we do would not be possible. So I welcome everybody in. We have Golden One Credit Union, Happy Chang, and Chase with Susan Munkner. First American Home Warranty, JCP, Annette Kalik. We have Units Moving and Storage. Old Republic Home Warranty, Maureen Hunter, are you in the room? And Jean Stanley Morgan. Stacy? Okay. Also, I'd like to welcome the Women's Council of Realtors dignitaries that are with us today, and thank you so much for being here. Do we have any visiting local network members or presidents? Okay. Any past local and state presidents? Past national region?
Oh. Good morning, or good afternoon, I should say. Tammy Barstow, past WCR president, and glad to be here.
And
good afternoon, Tammy. Tina Hand, your, I believe, 2017 president.
Yes.
Good to see you.
And Geraldine Ramirez, your 2019 president.
Thank you. And Marianne Rocha, I see you there.
I'm here.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, past national regional vice presidents. Is Barbara on the call? Okay, and current state district vice presidents and governors.
Hi, Diana. This is Julie Fulcher, your current 2021 district vice president.
And Geraldine again, District 1 vice president as well.
Awesome. Governors. Okay, and then last but not least, our 2020 state president and officers. Is there anybody here representing? Okay. Now I'd like to welcome all the dignitaries for Bay East and the marketing meetings. Tina, would you like to go first?
Good afternoon again, everybody. Tina Hand, your 2021 president, and thank you.
Awesome. Do we have anybody else representing Bay East?
Geraldine Ramirez, Director at Large.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nick Solis, Director at Large as well.
Yay. We got a room full of dignitaries. I love it. Marketing meetings. It's Paul.
Hey everyone, what day are we? Happy Tuesday. Paul Wong here, Central County Marketing Group Chair.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Anybody else representing any of the marketing meetings? Oh, there.
Yeah, then this is Nick Solis again. I'm the chair of the Rail Group over here in Livermore. Come and check us out on Thursdays at 9 a.m.
Okay. And then CCMG is Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Okay. Well, at this time, I'd like to give the floor to Tammy Barstow. She's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hello, all. I just wanted to remind you that we live in such an amazing nation, and it's been tough, and tomorrow's going to be tougher. So prayers up to our whole nation, and please lead us, or please join me in giving to the pledge to our great flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of America
and to the
republic for which it stands,
one
nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Tammy. I just love that. Thank you very much for being here. And then I would like to give the floor to Happy Chang for our inspiration.
Thank you, Diane. So I was told today that I would be presenting the inspirational speech and maybe talk a little bit about Golden One. So I see I have about 7 minutes. So I'm going to do it first, just a little bit about Golden One, and then I'll end with the inspirational speech. I thought rather than going on about products and all that kind of stuff with Golden One, just wanted to share with you some fun facts about Golden One that some of you may or may not know. So Golden One, we actually are the largest sponsor of the Golden One Center in Sacramento, so home of the Sacramento Kings. So I didn't know if anyone knew that, but that's a fun fact of ours. Number two, we have been around since 1933. So while some of you may be new to Golden One or just recently heard about us, we actually have been around for 87 years, going on our 88th year.
Wow.
So I came on board in 2017. I've had over 30 years of experience in the mortgage business, and I was hired on almost 3 years ago to open up a Golden One Home Loan Center here in Pleasanton. So they hired me with no office and no employees. So fast forward 3 years, we have a home loan center in Pleasanton, right in between Honey Baked Ham and Starbucks on Hop Yard. And we have 18 home loan advisors to serve your needs. And so I thought that I would share that. And also one product, a little bit of a product knowledge is that, we are still doing really low down payment loans. So 5% down to $1 million, 10% down to 1.5 million, 15% to 2 million. So I know some lending institutions, I know we have some wonderful lenders on this platform. And, some of us can do something, some of us can't do other things. And rather than be adversaries, let's be allies and, share with each other of things that we can do and, give to others that, if we can't do it, let's share with our fellow, members here. So I'd like to create that atmosphere. And then in trying to think of an inspirational speech, it's since I manage a home loan office, it's all about, sales. So I found this little story that I thought I would share. So it was said that like many years ago, 2 salesmen went to Africa sent by a British shoe manufacturer. The goal of their trip was to investigate this new market as they had never, looked at this market before. And so they had to go back there and report their findings back to headquarters on the potential of this new market. The first salesman came back with rather a dismal report. He said, "There's no potential at all here because nobody wears shoes in Africa." The second salesman came back with a rather different reply. "There's massive potential in Africa because nobody wears shoes." So when you look at this story, it's all about perspective and how your outlook makes all the difference. Because when you look at it and say, and there's, nobody wears shoes in Africa, and that could be looked at one way, that there's not going to be a market for shoes. Then there's another way of looking at it that says nobody wears shoes, but here's an opportunity to sell shoes. So it really is your choice as to how you interpret any situation, whether you're looking at it positively with optimism or as a challenge full of negativity. Everything is in your power to think positively and negatively. And I wanted to share that story to say, it's kind of like the glass half empty and half full, and hope we all can, look at things in a positive light as we embark on this new year. So happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you so much, Happy. And thank you for all those little tidbits of information.
Thank you.
Those things allow us to get to know you better, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, so at this time, I am going to turn the floor over to Nick Solis and to introduce our speaker for today. Nick?
Thank you so much, Diana. I appreciate it. Happy. What an incredible story. That really gives us a lot of insight as to the way that we look at things is the way that we perceive them, not the way that they always are, right? So with that, I think it's a perfect segue into our speaker today, Michelle Clardie. Michelle is a world famous real estate expert. She comes to us today to be able to hopefully give us all ideas as to how to build a business plan for 2021, find ways to kind of tap who we are, create our best brand, and then to create a plan to be able to follow that through. So, with that, some of the things that she's done in her career is, she's been known to contribute to sites like Inman, Yahoo News, My Move, and Pop Sugar. She's also published a book called The Recession-Proof Real Estate Agent, How Savvy Agents Are Finding New Opportunities in Slow Markets. And it's something you can actually find on Amazon. Her background is not only in real estate sales and administration, but also leasing, investment, and tax strategies. So without further ado, I want to introduce Michelle and have her take over. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, thanks so much for that, Nick. And now I don't have to talk about myself at all because you just did it for me, so I appreciate that. If you can give me permission to share my screen, I've got a slideshow queued up ready to go.
You should already be the co-host. Are you not seeing that?
Let me try to share my screen here. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay, you should see a big slide with Real Estate Business Planning 2021 on it. Everybody got that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're going to run through this fairly quickly, considering that it's a complete business plan. But we're going to go over the purpose of your business plan and then the individual sections like branding, finance, marketing, and operations. So the primary purpose of a business plan in real estate isn't like most sectors of business where you're looking for investors. It's mostly to keep you on track. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten distracted by the new marketing techniques, Instagram stories, for example, or embedded Facebook videos. So when those things come along, it's really easy to chase what's new and cool, and then you can really quickly get off track. So your business plan is going to help you stay on track and avoid some of those distractions. One of my favorite things, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So today we're going to take your wish and make it into an actionable business plan. And we'll have this slideshow for you after the meeting, as well as a business plan template so that you can use the workbook to go through your own business plan. So don't worry about documenting anything or taking notes on anything that you see in this slideshow because you'll get all of it. Okay, so we're going to start with branding. Now, any brand new agents here? Branding typically is considered, fonts and colors and a logo, and then a lot of agents think they're good, they've got a brand. And certainly those are parts of your brand, but we also want to talk more about creating a message. We want to talk about setting yourself apart from your competitors. That's all part of your brand as well. So when it comes to your differentiator, you need to choose something that you're exceptionally good at, that your competitors are not exceptionally good at, and that your clients value. So think in terms of skills, first of all. If you speak another language, or maybe you have a marketing degree, or you've taken a course in online marketing, things like that could all be a differentiator. You could also differentiate yourself with statistics. So if you have the lowest days on market or the best price ratios, a little trickier because of course those are subject to change, but if you consistently produce, those could be your differentiator. And then if you don't have a skill or statistics, you could also try services. So a new service like adding staging as part of your package, or adding new home photo shoots for buyers. That's becoming really popular with millennial buyers. It's like engagement shoots or like anniversary shoots, but for their new home. So it showcases their new home, they can share it on social media, and then you get that extra boost when they tag you. Now, let's see, I want to encourage everyone to niche down. So I see too many agents trying to compete with every other agent in the market for every buyer and every seller. And again, literally, you're competing with every other agent in the market. Generally, it makes more sense to find your niche and focus there. You're going to have a smaller pool of opportunity, but you're going to be able to capture more of those leads. So if you think about it, would you rather get 1% of the entire market, or would you rather get 25% of your niche, which would likely end up being an even larger percentage? Now, once you have your niche, you can create your client avatar. This is basically a snapshot of your ideal client. So you want to know, generally speaking, how old they are. Of course, nothing that would go against fair housing, but you want to get an idea of who these people are so that you know what they value, what are their challenges, what are their goals, their fears. And when you have that, then you're able to best serve them. So this is an example, retired Richard, and it lists all of those factors that we would need to know to best serve Richard's needs. And let me just make sure I can pull up the chat so I can see if there are any messages coming through. Okay. And by the way, we will be pausing for questions as well. If you have a question, please feel free to type it in, but I'll be pausing as we go, okay? Okay, so when you're thinking about your ideal client, you want to craft your origin story and define your mission in a way that speaks directly to them. So when it comes to your origin story, none of your clients want to hear that you got into real estate because it pays well and it has flexible hours. They want something they can feel good about. They want to know that you got into it because you saw a need in the market and you knew that you could help people. So an example of that would be, like with that retiree that we just looked at. Perhaps you saw your parents when they retired and they had a hard time selling the family home, and you wanted to help other people through that transition. That's a great origin story that your ideal client could feel good about. And then along with that is defining your mission. So your mission is what drives you each day. And again, it's got to relate back to your client somehow. So for example, a good mission would be, that you aspire to help all retirees make that transition so that they can retire in comfort and security. So once you have these bigger concepts, then you can focus on the brand identity. And this is where you get the visuals that people are, generally associate with a brand. So first, business name and tagline. Generally, it's a good idea to just use your name if it's unique enough. And as far as taglines go, I know that they were very popular years ago. Today, they're not super relevant. You can still have one if you have a great idea for one, but I wouldn't stress about one, and don't worry about making things rhyme or making them cute. Generally, if you're going to use a tagline, just stick with your differentiator. Just expressly state that, and that will set you apart immediately. Now, one thing you want to make sure is that the domain name is available for your business. I made this mistake, and well, actually, I made the mistake of social media handles. So now I'm redoing my domain name, and it's a nightmare. So make sure you have the domain name you want up front so you don't have to try to change it later. And you can use, like I said, your name, but you can also use lifestyle and location words. So for example, using Oakland, using Alameda County, those would help in the global market and national market. Those would help explain where you're coming from to people. Now, colors and fonts and all these design elements, you're real estate agents, you're not designers, you don't have to be. So when it comes to designing, just go to Pinterest and type in branding boards, and you'll get all these great curated, well-designed images with colors and fonts that all work perfectly well together, and just pick your favorite and move on. And then when it comes to your logo, you can design your own in Canva. Is anyone familiar with Canva?
Of the Target.
Yeah, okay, good. It's a fantastic resource. It's an online design platform.
Michelle?
Yes.
Michelle, can I interrupt? Can everybody meet?
What kind? Okay.
I'll find who it is in a minute, Diane. You can just keep going.
We return with students. It's about education. And we've spent the better part of 2 decades teaching students to work together in group and socialize and
Go ahead and proceed, Michelle.
Okay,
I think
thanks
we're
very much
good.
for that. So Canva is a fantastic resource. They have a great free program, but you may even want to spend the extra to upgrade to the premium platform. You get tons of free images and it's super easy to use. So you can make your own logo in Canva. It's also great for postcards and social media posts, flyers. But again, back to your logo, it's good for your logo, or you can just go to Etsy and purchase a logo program. The designers on Etsy will just send you your logo ready to go. Questions on branding? No? Okay. We're going to move on to finance. Now, the backbone of your financial plan is your budget. And you may have made a budget before. It's basically just a list of your income and expenses, but we'll go over that in just a bit of detail. And then we also want to create your goal action plan. That's how many houses you need to sell to hit your income goal and how many contacts you need to make to sell that many homes. And then of course, tracking. You need to track your income and expenses if you're going to hope to stay on target all year long. So you typically start your budget with a review of your previous year. If you're brand new to real estate and you don't yet know what your real estate expenses are going to be, chances are they won't be a whole lot because a lot of times you can get by nowadays without spending too much money up front on your real estate business. But ask another agent, ask your broker, they should be able to direct you. And then you can use your 2020 financial performance to direct your 2021 budget. So just an example budget, if anyone's not terribly familiar with actually budgeting, you just go through your personal expenses, your business expenses, and then your income. Your profit is your income minus your business expenses. And then your cash flow is your income minus all expenses. Your cash flow is how much you have left over each month or how much you're in the hole each month. So your income goal action plan. Has anyone done this before where you actually sit down and figure out how many contacts you need to make every workday to meet your income goal? Good, good. Okay. Well, then we won't go over it in too much detail, but just to give a really quick example. So I saw in Alameda County, values are currently sitting at about $950,000. With a 6% commission and a 50-50 split, if your goal was to gross $150,000 a year, you would need to sell 10.5 homes per year. So you could just round that up to 1 home a month. For a lot of new agents, it takes about 100 contacts to get a single lead for an appointment, to get actually 1 appointment. So if you're more experienced, you might be able to get that down to about 50. But it's also going to take you probably 5 appointments to land a client. So using all of those numbers, I calculated that you would need to make contact with 12 new leads every working day if you're working 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year. So you're going to have a format in the business plan that we're going to send out, and that's going to walk you through those calculations. So you'll know exactly how many contacts you need to make every working day in 2021 to hit your goal. And then tracking. Tracking, of course, can be a pain. Nobody wants to track every dollar they spend, and well, the dollars coming in are more fun to track. But your bank and your credit card might actually have categorized expenses for you. So check your bank statements or your online documents to see if they can categorize that for you so that you don't have to. That way you can just check once a month, make sure you're on track to hit your goals and move on. Another good exercise, maybe once or twice a year, is to check your net worth. So that's all of your assets minus all of your liabilities. That's going to tell you big picture where you're at as far as financial health goes. And then your long-term goals like retirement, saving for kids' college education, saving for the trip of a lifetime, those kinds of things. I also check once or twice a year. And again, you'll have templates for all of that. Questions on finance? I know we went through that pretty quickly. Okay. Okay, so when we get to marketing, this is the fun section. And a lot of times people just talk about real estate marketing, but we're not just talking about marketing homes. We're not just talking about marketing your listings. We're also talking about marketing ourselves. So we're talking about lead generation, really. A lot of agents throw time and energy and money at a lot of different avenues, and they don't really track it to see where it's paying off. So that's one thing I want to encourage everyone to do in 2021 is watch your marketing dollars, see where they're going, see what they're getting you. So in this case, we're going to calculate the ROI on all of your marketing activities for last year. That way you can focus on where you want to put those marketing dollars for 2021 to return the best investment. And then setting a marketing schedule, because following through on your marketing plan is a whole other thing, right? So the formula for calculating the ROI on your marketing, you want to take the net profit you gain from any of your given marketing activities, and then divide that by the annual cost of that marketing activity. And that's the return on investment that you're getting for that activity. Now, if you do this for all of the activities you're involved in, so social media marketing, maybe you do Facebook ads, maybe you do billboards, maybe you still do print advertising. If you calculate the ROI, you'll be able to see where your dollars are best being spent. And then you can put more dollars toward that in 2021 to give you the best returns. I wanted to spend a little time going over some underutilized marketing ideas. I see a lot of agents doing a lot of the same things with varying degrees of success, but these marketing ideas are things that almost no one's doing, and they work really well when you do them. So before you commit to your marketing activities for this year, consider some of these. So start by teaching a real estate investing course. Investor clients are fantastic because they're repeat clients. They keep coming to you deal after deal, unless they get their own license, which honestly, a lot of them just don't have the time or desire to do. So they'll keep coming to you. Local ad space on Spotify and Pandora. Everyone uses Spotify and Pandora, and a lot of people don't really notice that they use local ads. So if you advertise there, you're getting into the ears of local Alameda County residents. Has anyone here done the local news outlets, any TV or radio shows? No, that can be a great PR move. If you just contact your local news outlets and see if they're interested in having a regular market update. So this could be once a week, once a month, once a quarter, but it's a way for you to get in front of a large audience and for you to demonstrate that you're the expert in your market. So you get in front of this big group, and every week they trust you to tell them what's going on in the market. And again, a lot of agents don't do it because of course you're busy with a bunch of other things, but it's worth taking the time to just reach out to these news outlets and see if they're looking for something like that. My personal favorite as a content writer is blogging. Now, I know blogs sound like they're so 10 years ago, but the great thing about blogs is that they give Google content on your website to index. And that means that if buyers and sellers are searching Google for certain keywords, your website can pop up on the front page. So you're getting in front of these people who are active in the market, who are looking for what you're offering. And you're saying, look, I'm the expert. I know all of this stuff. So it gives you, the longer you blog, the more content you give Google to index. So that way, you're getting increasing returns. So it does take a little while, I'll admit, it starts slow, but you'll keep getting better and better, and your audience will keep getting bigger and bigger. And before you know it, you'll be having leads coming to you via email around the clock while you're sleeping or while you're out with other clients. And thank you, Tina, for that comment that you need to check with David Stark before contacting TV or newspaper. Thank you for that, I appreciate it. Another great underutilized marketing idea is to launch a renter to homeowner program. And let me know if this is something that you also need to clear with someone. But this is for apartment communities mostly. And this is where you become the go-to agent for that apartment community. And in return, you basically pay the lease break fee for tenants who move out of that apartment community and buy with you. Now, I've had agents say, but isn't that giving out a commission? And you can't do that unless the property manager is a licensed agent. It's not a commission because it's not a percentage of your earnings. So it's just paying the lease break fee, but you can sort of think of it like paying a referral fee in terms of, is it worth your time or is it worth your money to pay this? From the client's point of view, from the renter's point of view, they're getting their lease break fee completely waived. And it's all because they're working with you. So you are the hero. Another great idea is a FSBO workshop. So FSBOs, of course, get agent calls all the time. They're not interested in talking to you. And that's fine. Especially in a hot market like this, it looks really easy to sell real estate from the outside. So they try it. And something like only 8% of for sale by owner properties actually sell for sale by owner. The rest end up going with agents. So if you host a FSBO workshop and you give them all the information they need, let them know how to market their property, let them know how to follow up with interested parties, and then you just let them try and you wait. And pretty soon they will probably contact you because they realize it's just too expensive. It takes too much time. They're better off in professional hands. And one final thing I want to mention is Pinterest. Now, again, a lot of agents don't think about Pinterest as a real estate strategy because Pinterest is global and real estate is super local. But Pinterest is great because it drives traffic to your website. If you write an article on a general home buying kind of topic, something like how to buy a home when you have poor credit, you're going to have people from all over, at least all over the US, clicking on your pin. And that's going to take them to your website where they can see, again, that you are the expert. And a lot of times they'll reach out to you. You can even put a call to action that says, you know, wherever you're buying in the country, reach out to me. I can help you find an agent that's best suited to work with you. And that way you've got referrals coming in. And like I said, setting your marketing schedule, because it's one thing to say you're going to do all of these marketing activities, but it's another thing to actually sit down and do them. So once you choose the marketing activities that you're going to focus on, decide how often you're going to do each. If it's going to be a daily thing, weekly, monthly. If you're doing Twitter, it's going to be like 10 times a day. And then decide exactly when you're going to do them. So what day of the month, what time, write it down in your calendar. Because if it's, I don't know about you, but if it's not in my calendar, it's not happening. So you put it in your calendar and then you check it off and just keep checking off your marketing activities. And that way you actually make sure they get done. So that's marketing. Any questions on that? I have heard of Clubhouse. So it's an invite-only audio social marketing platform. It's brand new. Like I said, you have to have an invite from someone. It's not only is it audio, but it's real time. So you can log in and you can only access real-time audio meetings that are happening. As someone who's not really into social media, it's probably not my thing, but there are lots of people who are very, very into it. If you're looking for an invite, I recommend checking Facebook groups.
Good, how are you?
Successful Women All Over the World in Real Estate or something is the name of one of the Facebook groups. Successful Women in Real Estate All Over the World, something like that. And I see these comments coming through all the time. They're starting invite chains. So they'll basically set up a call where a list of 150 agents will get on this call. One person has an invite, they'll invite the next person, they'll invite the next. So once you sign up, you get an invite. So that person will invite the next person, that person will invite the next person. It takes a few hours, but if you're really into it, really looking for an invite, that's probably your best bet. Any follow-up questions on that one? No problem. Happy to help, Jason. The last thing I want to talk about is your operations. So your operations is the day-to-day running of your business. This is your staff, how you do things, how you document your procedures, how you follow up with leads, how you choose vendors and suppliers. All of that's covered with your operations. One thing I want to talk about with operations is expanding your services. Now, right now, you may just be too busy with buyers and sellers to even think about adding another service, and that's fantastic. That's a great problem to have. When the market slows down, though, which it inevitably will at some point, you may want to have an additional service to help your clients through a slower market, to diversify your income, and to be able to cross-promote your services. So a couple ideas. Property management is kind of a given. And you don't have to do it yourself. You can hire people. You can refer people out. So there are ways to offer additional services without you actually handling the work on your own. Property tax appeals are my favorite real estate agent sort of side hustle. No one does them because it's been a hot market the last 10 years. But if property values dip, agents are the perfect group of people to handle property tax appeals. Literally, all you have to do is show Alameda County that the property that you're representing has dipped and that they are overvaluing the property for taxing purposes. Once they learn that, they'll reduce the value, or they'll reduce the assessed value for taxing. They're going to give your homeowners a refund. You get a slice of that refund as your commission. You've got happy homeowners who probably never would have thought to appeal their property tax bill. And you're able to stay in front of them year after year if you review their property taxes annually, which only takes a few minutes. And when it comes time for them to sell, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Of course, they're going to list with you. You've been helping them with their property taxes for years. Let's see, credit repair. Credit repair is actually a good one for right now if you have the time and capacity to handle it, because lenders are tightening their requirements because interest rates are stupid low. So if you have buyers with credit issues, and again, talk to your broker about this one. They may or may not want you offering this service. But if you have a buyer with credit issues, you can help save their credit, which of course they're going to be incredibly grateful to you for. And then you can help them qualify to buy a home from you. So then you get the commission on that as well. Staging services, again, you may or may not have the capacity or the interest to handle that. You might want to refer that out. You might want to hire a stager on your team. That's all an option. And then home repairs work the same way. If you've got a seller who needs to make home repairs, maybe you have a branch of your real estate business that just handles home repairs for sellers. It's a great way to bring in some extra money or to differentiate yourself. Any of these services could be used as your differentiator if you want to include them in the cost of your services. So again, you get to diversify your income or differentiate yourself from your competitors, and the important part, best serve your clients. And then with your operations plan, you want to plan your team growth. So something I'll be looking at this year is a social media manager, because again, I hate social media. So it's much, much easier to outsource it to somebody who knows what they're doing. Every different social media platform has a different algorithm, and I just don't have the patience to wade through it all. So a qualified social media marketer, a social media manager can handle all of that for you. Also an executive assistant, or in this year, a virtual assistant might be a better fit. They can handle all of your data entry, a lot of your lead follow-up, things like that. And then a buyer's agent. You know, maybe you're at the point where it's just not a good use of your time to work with buyers. Add a buyer's agent to your team. And then as the final part of your operations plan, you want to document your procedures. So very few agents really get around to this, but I'm telling you, it's critical. If you want to provide the same level of service, client after client after client, you want to know how you're doing that. So having those all documented makes your life a lot easier. But more importantly, when you're bringing on new people to your team, you want to trust them to handle it the same way you would handle it. So that's why you need everything documented, so that your new employees can follow up with your leads and qualify buyers and market your listings exactly like you would. Your clients are getting the same quality of service that they would with you, but you're able to outsource it to someone else on your team. And that way you're freed up to look for new business. And that's your operations plan. Any questions on that? Okay, well, we went through that very quickly. Of course, actually setting up your business plan takes a little time, a little peace and quiet to sit down and go through and think about how you want your year ahead to look. You know, what you want your marketing plan to look like for 2021 or your team growth. Who do I recommend for a CRM? That's a really good question. Lion Desk is a good one. For experienced agents, I should say. For new agents, I recommend just using an Excel spreadsheet. It's, as long as you know you're not trying to automate emails and things like that. If you're a new agent, an Excel spreadsheet works just fine. But yeah, probably Lion Desk is my choice for experienced agents who need something more robust to handle multiple tasks. Does anybody have any other questions? You're welcome.
I have a question. You suggested kind of in the beginning, like, you know, identify your client, but then you went into kind of like the gender of a client, which doesn't feel like greatly on brand for 2021. So can you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. And you're right. Like when you consider your niche market, your ideal client, you're looking to narrow in on something that, of course, you're not going to narrow into that exact person in your day-to-day business. But it's to help you get sort of a feel for their mindset and help you get inside the ideas and the life and the needs and desires and fears of your target client. You're right. Gender may be completely irrelevant in 2021. It's sort of just kind of, I guess, an easy identifier, generally speaking, not obviously all the time, but it's kind of helpful when you're just trying to sort of get an idea of the general person that you're trying to serve. And again, we're not trying to discriminate against anyone, especially with fair housing laws. Like, we want to be open. It may even be worth it to do multiple avatars. But again, you're trying to zero in on sort of a niche, and you may have multiple avatars within that niche. But I think the important thing is to sort of figure out who you serve best and sort of tailor your message to them. Does that make sense?
So it's more, because I was thinking more in line of like, you know, like if you have a certain neighborhood in San Francisco, you kind of have a feeling for the vibe of the people. But yeah, that threw me off when the gender was in there.
That makes perfect sense. And yeah, absolutely. If you have like a geographic farm that you like to work, and there's sort of, like you said, a vibe, like a unifying characteristic for some of the people where you feel like you can sort of get in their heads and figure out what they need and what they want and how you can serve them. Because that's what it all comes down to, right? Is how can you serve these people? What do they need from you? So it's just that for a lot of people, it helps to be able to sort of picture someone, even if that picture, you know, it won't match all of your clients. But it's a good marketing tool. It's a good marketing exercise to help you like really zero in on that person. But I appreciate that feedback.
Michelle, you talked a couple of times that you do not like social media.
Right. Guilty.
Is it you don't like to do it, or you don't believe in it?
Both, I think.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
To me, it's a bit of a necessary evil in business. As a business owner, I need to be on it. I do the bare minimum, sometimes hardly that. So yeah, it's something that I definitely need to hire somebody who is really into it. I think it can definitely be used for good. Certainly it can be used as a source of clients. It's just not so much for me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for explaining that, because I was like, oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I shouldn't be going in that direction. Is there
Yeah, and
another
I'm
thing that
certainly-
you would recommend? Yeah.
Yeah,
more
it's a
so.
great tool. It's like I said, it's not for everybody. And if it's not for you, I still recommend trying it, because I think today's buyers and sellers do expect you to have a social media presence. They really do. If you don't have one, it's almost a little suspect. So by all means, set up your profiles, post to them as regularly as you can. And if you need to hire somebody, hire somebody.
Okay. Thank you definitely for that.
Absolutely.
So this Nick, I have a quick question. With COVID and us not really being able to, get face to face with as many people, do you think that changes anything with social? And, just I've talked to a lot of different people, and it's something where not everybody agrees. But one of the feelings I've always had about hiring out was, me hiring someone else to be social for me would be like me taking a voice recorder and recording a message, inviting you out for coffee, you showing up, I showing up, I put the voice recorder down, hit play, just walk away. Like, is that the kind of social interaction people are thriving for these days, or?
That's totally fair. And believe me, if you're into social media, if you have any knack for social media, absolutely manage it yourself. I agree with you. I think that personal connection is important. But for people like me who are just bad at it, in that case, especially since honestly, I don't need to have maybe that same level of connection that real estate agents do with their clients. As a writer, as a content creator, I do sort of have the luxury of stepping back a little bit. So again, if you're into it, please, by all means, handle your own social media. I do think that's going to give you a better client interaction. But if you're not, don't let that prevent you from having a social media presence. In that case, I do think it's probably better to hire somebody to handle it for you.